Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Unedited Chatter with Stephanie and Tisha. We're so excited you're here with us today.
Unedited Chatter drops new episodes every other Wednesday. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts, and the socials listed in the show notes. This show is an independent production. The views expressed here are our own and not those of our professional roles or employers. This is our Unedited Chatter. Let's get to it. Melissa Blotter is with us today, and she is a leadership development consultant and the founder of Directed Success, where she partners with education organizations to design impactful training experiences, leadership programs, and conferences. With more than 2 decades in early childhood education, she has led large scale onboarding initiatives, leadership development programs, and national conferences focused on strengthening school culture and retention, something we all want to know more about. Melissa is passionate about helping educators grow into confident leaders who create environments where both teachers and children thrive. Welcome, Melissa.
Wow, I'm so excited to be here. That's quite the introduction. Thank you so much.
We are so excited that you're here today. I love your title because Steph and I are and have both been in leadership capacities, and it is called From Teacher to Leader: Why Nobody Teaches Leaders How to Lead. And it is so true, right?
Yes, yes. One of the things in my experience is that we make great teachers, and having come out of a classroom myself, we can make great teachers, but then I lose that identity when I become a leader. And it's how do we make that shift and be proactive in our own development, which is really where my passion has been, is giving those teachers the tools that they need to be successful so that when they do step into that leadership role, they're ready. They can hit the ground and do great things as a leader, just like they were doing in their classroom.
And that's so important because we can't really have a good leader without having the opposite. In a way, we might not have the title of being a teacher, but we still are teaching. So talk to us a little bit about that transition that maybe you went through and then how we might be able to apply it.
Yeah, so when I was a teacher, was really, really great in my classroom. I would say I was really great with the little people, but struggled as a leader when it came to the big people. I wasn't taught how to have challenging conversations. I wasn't taught any of the business acumen tools. And so when I became a leader, I really struggled in that transition because I got accolades as a teacher with the kids in my classroom. But then when it became time for me to lead other big people that were teaching the little people, I struggled. And so what I really did was start looking at, well, what tools did I need to be successful? And how did I work through that discomfort and started building this toolkit so that I could then train other big people and get them ready to step into that leadership role. And because no one really prepares you for that transition. No one is being proactive and giving you those tools. And so things like communication, the business acumen pieces, and ultimately the culture building, because as teachers, we are likely part of the culture. We're not necessarily the ones driving the culture. And that's where that leader shift has to happen. I think the hardest piece for me was the challenging conversations. I was the one that I was an avoidant across the board. I didn't want to have them. And just if you had to pay your bill or you were late for several days in a row as a new leader, I was terrified of those conversations. And really in my toolkit, it was leaning into a lot of crucial conversations and challenging conversation tools and being okay knowing that they weren't going to be perfect right out of the gate. And so giving myself that grace and space as I learned those pieces to have the uncomfortable conversation and work on it's okay to hold other people accountable and acknowledge that accountability because just like I want to hold my team accountable, I want them to be able to hold me accountable too. And creating that safe space together involves those uncomfortable moments. And that I think was the hardest piece for me to have to deal with and to work through. And I'll be fully transparent. I'm still working through that right now. There are times where I notice that I don't want to have that challenging conversation. But I'd love to hear the same from you all. What were some of the struggles that you had as new leaders or things that you're even still seeing today.
My biggest struggle was going from a teacher parent concern to an all school parent teacher concern. You know, you have hundreds of parents that are needing you and they're mad about different things or they're concerned about different things. And you always need to support your teacher. And how am I going to do that? And sometimes you think, you know, that teacher probably didn't do that correctly, but you still have to support that teacher. And like figuring those things out, I think for me, moving into higher education, I think that the paperwork was, and Steph knows this, I don't enjoy that part of it. I loved working with the people. I love the relationships. I love all of those things. I want to do the fun and creative things. So as a leader in higher ed, I didn't enjoy that. I don't like the reports. I don't like the data. I don't want to analyze that anymore. So, and I think that that's when I was just like, I'm done with this. It's not fun. That's not fun for me. And so I love what I do now. And those are my things.
And it's funny, Tisha and I, we talk about this a lot on the podcast. We're polar opposites. And I love those things. I love the data. Give me all the data. I love the reporting. I want to go back to something you said. It's real easy to teach kids. I mean, we're all real good at that. But all of a sudden we are, tasked with being able to teach the teachers to be the best teachers they can possibly be. And man, that's tough. My situation was unique. I identify very much so, just like you, of not wanting to live in that space of having those tough conversations. And my situation, I was a very young leader. I was in a very big leadership position at a very young age. So for me, establishing that credibility and that trust and that culture that we have to establish as a leader is so important. And when I was thinking about it, I was very young, but I'm going to tell you, I'm not very young anymore. And I still have that same challenge as an experienced leader of building trust, developing the culture, and establishing, all the things that we need within that. So I don't know that that's ever gone away.
Yeah, I have to
Yeah,
tell you something funny, Melissa, because like if we're in a difficult conversation and Steph knows I'm gonna just go head on with it, it doesn't bother me. She has literally just turned her camera off before if I'm like having a tough conversation with someone. And I'm like, I mean, I don't mind the tough conversations, but yes, she is not, she doesn't like that.
So we're on that. Well, thanks for on that. But to your point, Melissa, we have to approach those and learn how to navigate those and tackle those as leaders.
No, she's
that's the
never
only
been
way.
on the other end and like shut it off when it's her conversation. But if I've been having one with somebody and she's like, I'm
Well, I
turning
mean,
that off.
there's a lot of ground there, Tisha, that we've got to go. So never say never. I made
Never say never. Might turn her camera off and y'all will have an uncomfortable conversation. You can have that after the recording. It's
that's the end meeting. Yeah. Well, Melissa, what do we tell leaders who are navigating these new roles from teacher? You mentioned in the beginning, proactive. What
yeah,
do
yeah. So I think that this is where you have to really be self-aware on what do you want to do what do you want to be when you grow up? What is your next step? Because if you want to be a leader, start now. Look at your existing leadership in your organization or within your school and ask somebody, hey, would you be a mentor for me? I can guarantee that anybody in a leadership role would be willing and able to give you some time. Also, look at your other peers and learn from others in other leadership positions. It doesn't just have to be going from a teacher to a director. Maybe you want to be a lead teacher. Maybe you just want to be really, really good at something in your school. It isn't a linear path. So look for other people that are exhibiting those leadership skills in the area that you kind of want to grow in. And then also make sure that you are okay not being perfect. And I think that was another skill that I really had to learn myself was give myself the grace and space that things aren't going to be perfect right out of the gate as a new leader, as I'm exploring and navigating what my next steps are going to be. I don't have to be perfect, but what matters is that I've built that support system around me that will help me with the tools that I need to be successful. And I think we have to be able to give ourselves that grace and space, really, that you don't have to be perfect, but you have to practice. And that's the thing. You have to get started at some point. So that would be my biggest feedback is if you know that your next step is going to be in any sort of leadership capacity, start now. Don't wait until that opportunity opens or that position becomes available, go ahead and start now and lean on your team and that support system to really start building those skills.
I hear you saying almost going with that growth mindset too, to know that it's not a you're not gonna ever be just a product. I'm a leader. It's gonna be that continual evolution of the process of being a better leader, stronger leader, a more whatever it may be that you're trying to achieve. And I like that.
Right. And I
I
also wanted
also
to say that I just wanted to say too, I think sometimes teachers don't think they're leaders, but they are. Teachers are leading children, they're leading families, they're leading the community, your school culture. So we always think about leaders as the principal or the assistant or the head of whatever you are. Everybody who is in education or working with children are leading, right?
And that's the same thing. It's getting the grace and space, and regardless of what or who or how you're leading, give yourself the grace and space, but lean into those conversations. Lean into those people around you that are doing the things that you want to do and ask the questions. Be curious. What did you learn as a leader, or what are the tools that you have in your tool belt that I can partner with you on? Because I think that we sometimes think of ourselves in this one silo. And as educators, we do so much more. And so really reaching out and building those skills, but you have to get started. You can't just sit and wait for someone to come knocking at your door. Go out there and start navigating it yourself.
That's a
I love this.
yep, call to action.
I agree.
Educators, that's
Yep.
it.
That's what I was going to say. This is perfect for somebody who is thinking about what's my next step? What am I going to do? I am going to lead, and this is what you have to do. So, thank you so much, Melissa. This has been amazing, and we hope you'll come back.
Thank you so much for having me. I've had so much fun.
Thank you, Melissa.